Hey guys, welcome back to Spilling the RealiTEA with Trisha and Kiley, where we will be walking through the Amazing Race episode, all the puns intended, and catching you guys up on everything that happened in last night's episode, our thoughts, and we do have the live chat going. So if you are joining with us live on this Thursday evening, then please drop a chat. We will, if we don't get to it when we're on topic, we will have a whole segment at the end of the show where we walk through the live chat and get your thoughts on last night's episode. So we had Big Brother right after. It was a crazy night, but a lot to unpack from the Amazing Race. So Kylie, overall, what were your feelings on last night's episode?
Well, I definitely have a team that I'm rooting for. Every time I see them on my TV, I just become bigger and bigger. Cajun Asian fans. So those are my girls. They had a great, funny episode last night. So we're just feeling inspired, y'all, because they made the comment as the race was starting. They said, "Shit's about to get serious. I got my hair in a bun." So here we are.
Here we are. We're about to get
We got our hair in a bun. Let's do this.
Yeah, we had fun last night wrapping up the Big Brother finale with a 2-hour episode with Russell on catching up on the season and last night's episode and the winners and the criers and all the things. So if y'all did not catch that, be sure to go back and watch. Thank you guys for all of the comments on that episode. Me and Kylie have read each and every one of them. Y'all are the sweetest and made our whole day. Like, me and Kylie love doing this. We put a lot of work and effort into it. And the fact that you guys are going out of your way to give us compliments, it really means the most to us and makes us feel like the work's paying off. So thank you guys. If you are tuning in live tonight and you like what you're seeing, then let us know. Hit us with a thumbs up and subscribe so you get a notification every time we go live. All right, guys. So let's dive into the episode. So we start off. The racers are leaving Colombia and heading to the Amazon. And the Asian Cajuns are like, the coffee here is real good. And I'm like,
Yeah.
that's
Yes.
like, I would be like,
give me the best part of waking up
is Colombia coffee in my cup. Okay. I feel like when they said that, I could smell like Colombian coffee.
Right. I was like, there's some things that if you think about, okay, if I travel somewhere, this is what I want to try. And in Colombia, if you're not doing any cocaine, you probably want to drink some coffee.
Or if you are doing cocaine, you might
need some coffee then too.
You never know. If I'm in Belgium, I'm gonna want to try a waffle.
Mm-hmm.
All the things. So we also get at the very beginning of the episode, they're at the airport and we see a alliance form.
Yeah, I think it's interesting that, they went ahead and did an all aboard flight, so everybody's caught up, and yeah, there went Hung and Cheese lead. But we do get to see this alliance form with Will and James and the volleyball players initially. And then they decide, hey, you know what? We're also really feeling Hung and Chi and the NFL players and Iswar and Aparna. And they pull them in for their 5-person alliance. So, y'all, leaving the Big Brother season where we saw a big alliance run the game, are we going to see the same thing in the Amazing Race?
Yeah, I don't know, but we did also see in this episode. So alliances aren't as big of a deal in this show as they are at Big Brother. So I don't think it'll be like that, like right. that. But I do think we did see how big of a part alliances played in this episode and where they can come in.
I mean, I think it came through in multiple different instances.
Yeah,
where
it definitely did.
It had a big impact. So
I mean, so they make that alliance, hop on the plane, and land in Colombia, where their first challenge is at the market. They are given a clue, and they have to find all of the items in this like farmers market type setting, French market, open market setting, and they have to find it, and it's all in Portuguese.
Yeah.
So they're having to, speak to the locals and figure out what these things are. It's not like if they look at this list, they're like, oh, because they kept calling this, I don't even remember what item it was, but they kept calling it a root.
Yeah.
Like the root, but that's not what it was called on the list. And so it's not like they could look at these items and be like apple, orange, banana,
Yeah.
and know what it is. They're having to like ask the locals. And yeah.
So Riley and Madison, the volleyball players, they are so impressive. We saw them speaking fluent Spanish when they were in Colombia. Now that they're in Brazil, he's like, oh, well, I just realized that Portuguese is basically just Italian and Spanish together. So I can pretty much speak Portuguese. I'm like, well, that's handy, isn't it? Good for you. I can't speak no damn languages but English.
Yeah. So.
And hillbilly.
Right. And we talk real slow at that. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but if me and you were to go to on the Amazing Race, what we could do is obviously we're not going to learn all these languages like within time. So,
Right.
but you can bring like, they can write stuff down, they can take notes, and you can bring like pieces of paper and like write notes and like write. So we could write like left, right, stop, like basic in all the languages on a note card and either see them or point to them and be like, this is what we need.
Help, phone. Phone. Translate.
Yeah. On delay, like in all the fast, hurry. We could do that. So just let it.
That's a good idea. So we're gonna come up with all the common phrases we need in Spanish, Portuguese, Italian, Chinese.
So those would be the hardest languages, like symbols.
Yeah.
Like I cannot read symbols, so we'd really because those Vietnamese, Chinese, Japanese are not Latin based, so we would
struggle. So, yeah, but I mean, Riley and Madison really came through with this alliance because they were basically dragging their other teams through with them, saying, hey, hook him up, get him the same things you're getting me. And I'm like, well, if you teamed up with him, that was a good move.
We see like Hung and Chi come up to them and say like, where did y'all find this? And they would tell them like Bay 9 or whatever. And they'd run and go get it. And so, this is where we see the very like alliance. They get off the plane and boom, these alliances are coming in handy. This alliance, I don't remember if they named it, but they did say this was the top 5. Like this has been the top 5, So this is definitely a very strong group. And they also said that they, Alana and Leo helped Haley and Kailyn. That kind of showed their cards. And they were like, we've got to get them out. Like Alana and Leo are pretty much a force to be reckoned with,
Right. I mean, they, at the beginning of the episode, they like go through their educational background. And I did want to point out that Leo actually went to Harvard. So if we have them on our show, I really would like for you to wear your Harvard hoodie. And he's like, did you go to Harvard too? And you can be like,
yes, I went there and got this hoodie.
So I'm actively
honestly,
looking forward to it.
Honestly, what I would say if Alana and Leo came on, I'd be like, what? Like it's hard?
Yeah. Okay, Elwoods.
Yeah, I can't wait to have them on so I can wear the hoodie.
I can't wait. I can't wait. Maybe I need to buy one too.
Yeah.
And be like, we both went to Harvard.
We went to Harvard and now have a YouTube channel, and that's where we're at with our Harvard degree.
With our Harvard education.
I also took Harvard Law School. Like, I'm real smart. Anyways. And here we are. Okay, so we also so we saw these alliances really playing out in the market challenge. They all get through that one and move on to they have to go to the beach, check in their stuff, like with the guy, and then the guy gives them a clue, and the clue says, okay, they didn't learn their lessons from the last leg. Which Kelly said on Twitter that you're tired, you're sleep deprived, you're hungry, you're just trying to hurry, and so it's very easy to miss clues. So look, I'm gonna write. Where's my pen? I'm writing on our paper our little list.
Add to our Post-it note.
Read the fucking clues. This is important.
Yeah. Asterisk next to that one.
This one, yeah, super. Don't have to learn a language. Don't have to learn how to drive a stick shift or tightrope, but read the clues, okay?
Yeah,
So
read
the
them.
clue says, grab all of your bags.
Yeah.
And board the boat to the ferry.
Yeah. So we see like these first 5 or 6 teams do pretty well finding the majority of their things, but our 2 teams at the back are Michelle and Victoria and Frank and Jerry, and unfortunately Frank and Jerry decide, hey, we'll follow them because maybe they know where they're going. And it's pretty clear Michelle and Victoria the whole day did not know where they were going. These girls ran around so much.
Yeah. They were lost in the market and
couldn't find the market.
They couldn't even find the dang market in the first place. And like I'm yelling at my screen, like, it's over there. It's over there. Like, do you see it?
Do you know outside it says mercantile? Because even though I don't speak any languages, they're just from Louisiana. They speak the same language we do. Mercantile.
Mercantile.
That means a little market.
Yeah.
And I also wanted to point out, like, obviously this was filmed pre-COVID, but like, can you just? I can't stop thinking about, oh my gosh, like we would never be able to do something like this now. This big open market with all of these vendors, all of these people crowded together, and it's like a glimpse back in time.
It really is. But like, I don't know, maybe because like you can go to Walmart right now and like you can just pick out fruit like all along the next person, like all of it's in the same barrel. You're just grabbing stuff.
Yeah, scavenging.
It's super important to wash this stuff, but you know what? They didn't get to wash it. Okay, we'll get there. We'll get there. They didn't get to wash it. Spoiler alert. So
wash your fruits and vegetables nowadays, guys. Though.
Yeah, muy importante.
That's Spanish for very important.
Okay. This is a new technique we're gonna try where we like say the few Spanish words we know to help build our language barrier.
Yeah. Maybe we should make that a segment. Spanish 101 with Trisha and Kiley.
When I took Spanish in college, like the professor only spoke Spanish. Like she never ever spoke English. And I was like, how are we gonna learn Spanish if you're teaching me in Spanish? But it actually works, like obviously
immersion. Yeah.
What you're doing, because you pick up on context clues, you pick up on visuals, and you put it together, and that helped a lot. And then we'd have to like watch videos in Spanish, obviously, to help us, and then like speak into the videos. Like anyway, super helpful.
So why don't you know any more Spanish?
Well, I just know kindergarten level because
you took one semester.
I just took one semester in college, but that would have been like my 6th year of Spanish.
Wow. Okay, so look, I took 3 years in high school of Spanish, and I didn't have to take any foreign language in college. That's because I didn't go to Harvard.
Well, yeah, it's because you go to Harvard, and obviously, like in Boston, Spanish, huge.
Super important. Super important.
Just like it is here in no, I took it in college because it's a very long story, but I changed colleges last minute, and from Harvard to a local state college. And so I was very late registering.
From Ivy League to community college, not good.
To a state-funded school. So anyway, long story short, my schedule that year consisted of jogging. It was at 8 a.m. Monday, Friday.
No.
A bowl. Try going to jogging. Hungover, don't recommend. But I aced that class. It was easy. I had jogging, Spanish, this class for like freshmen. You know, years where
I had one of those. Yeah.
You like bond. I don't know. It's like a
learn how to be a college student.
Pretty much, yeah. And then I don't know, some other, basics like English, math.
Yeah.
My schedule was super easy. I like GPA 4.0 for show that semester.
All right, good times.
Okay, so we're just all of that to say we're gonna start speaking Spanish.
Yeah, we're gonna have a Spanish segment.
Coming
next time.
So after they leave the market, they have to go to the guy. He gives the clue. The clue says, take all your bags, get on this ferry to go over here, and you're going to do this other challenge. Well, so probably every single team checked in their stuff with this guy before the boat ramp, except for Riley and Madison. They were like one of the first teams there, but all of these teams would like bypass them, drop their stuff off, and they checked in their stuff and then slowly were like packing it back up and got on the boat. And they were like the only ones to get on the boat with their belongings from the market.
Yeah.
So that put them in first at this point, because then everyone would get off the boat, and poor Will and James. Oh my gosh, I felt so bad for them.
At least they had the mind to say, let's double check, because they did bring their bags. And they're like, let's double check, make sure we have everything. And they're like, oh my gosh, we forgot our machete. So back up the beach they go, grab their machete. This is also one of my favorite moments from the episode last night. They're running back down the ramp, and Will is like, James, don't run with the machete. And James is like, give me the machete, I'll run with it.
Oh my gosh.
I'm like, okay, well, we know which one is the responsible one and which one is the competitive one. Because
fine. And they sit down and they're like, okay, let's just make sure we got it all now. We got our machete, we got it all. And they're like, the fish!
Nope. We've left our fish.
And they're getting so pissed. Again, Will and James are me, like, getting pissed, getting stressed out. And they're like, this is so annoying. And they go back. They grabbed the machetes. They all claim they have, like, color somewhere. They knew whose was whose. But I am convinced that they
took somebody else's.
Maybe not even them, but at some point when people are going back and grabbing stuff, they're taking someone else's. Because, I mean, what are the odds? Like, everyone's coming in here, dumping their stuff out.
Right.
Anyway, so they get their stuff, get back on. And they are heading, across the Amazon. They're like, oh, it's so beautiful. And they look at each other and they're like, I think it was James to Will, and he was like tearing up because he was like, I'm just so happy to be here with you. And I was like, oh, like all in my feels about this. It was so precious, and I freaking love them. The end.
So one thing I wanted to point out about the little fella there that was checking everything in, and we saw this as they were all running and everything. They were in the Amazon, and it was hot AF. Did you notice how much that little man that was checking all of their stuff was sweating? I felt terrible for him.
No, I didn't, but I could only imagine. Like, it gets very humid here in Texas. But like New Orleans, for example, is like another level of humidity. Like,
right.
Holy crap. That is the hottest place in the world. But I have not ever been like to a place closer to the equator during a hot time. So, wow. I can only imagine. Like, you're just.
They were just pouring sweat. And I mean, he was just like standing on the beach. You know how hot it is, like when the sun's beating up off the sand, and he's just checking all their items and rechecking their items. I'm like, let's put him a little shade up or something.
Yeah, for real. Like, are y'all trying to give this guy heat exhaustion? Like, anyways, so like we said, most of the teams forgot items, would get on the boat and be like, oh no, we gotta go grab this. That happened at probably every team. Except for Victoria and Michelle and Alana and Leo, right? How far? They had to go back to the market. Alana and Leo, they were one of the ones that was like, oh, well, this is missing. Like someone might have taken it. They had to go all the way back to the market.
Mm-hmm.
And anyways, or they didn't have an item. I can't remember exactly, but
Yeah.
they didn't have an item to get on the boat and need. So they had to go all the way back to the market and get it. That put them super far behind. Frank and Jerry as well had to go back to the market, put them super far behind. Well, Alana and Leo get back first. They're only missing like one thing, and then Victoria and Michelle get on the boat. They're going. Frank and
one thing you missed is D'Angelo and Gary. They went back to the market, and they were passing Victoria and Michelle. And Gary is like, "Oh, I need to tell the girls that they need to bring their bags." And D'Angelo's like, "Don't tell them."
yes,
Savage.
they're not a part of their alliance.
Yeah.
So
yeah, he's like, "Don't tell them." And they jump on the boat, and they're right there next to him. And like 20 minutes into the boat ride, Gary and D'Angelo are like, "Hey, you got your bags?" "No, mother effers, we don't."
Yeah, so they're on different boats, and Michelle and Victoria are like catching up to them, and they're like, "Y'all got y'all's bags?" And they're like, "Bags? What?" They look at the clue, realize, "Oh my God, we missed it," and go back.
Mm-hmm.
And on their way back, they pass Frank and Jerry, and they try to pass this same courtesy to them. And they're like, bags. And this part was freaking hilarious.
Yeah, Frank was like,
yeah. So Frank was like, yeah, so they already got all the way there and already on the way back, and they're right ahead of us. So obviously the challenge over here isn't that hard. We can catch up.
Yeah, super easy. We got this.
They are not thinking that they're going back to get anything, and it is heartbreaking. Heartbreaking. So they get all the way there. They're the only team that does this. They're Frank and Jerry all the way there and realize, oh my God, everyone has their bags.
So here's what I need to know. If they would have chosen, okay, so skipping forward a little bit, they get the clue from the dude with the blow dart. If they would have chosen to build the hut, would they have needed their bag? I mean, obviously they ended up getting U-turned and they had to have it. Skipping way ahead, y'all. But if they would have just chosen that, would they have needed their bag?
I don't think so. I don't know why they would need it because there's nothing in there. There wasn't string. There weren't
palm fronds. Yeah, like
nothing. There wasn't instruction manual. Nothing. So I don't. The machete. They would need the machete.
But did they? Did they have to have the machete for that?
Didn't they?
I think they were already cut. I mean, they didn't have to cut them down.
Oh, shit. I don't know. Then why'd they need the machete cooking?
Write that down.
Okay. Well, anyway.
Write that down. We'll ask them.
Yeah. So
backing up,
when they got to the land, each team, they're getting to the land, and they get to a guy, and he shoots a blow dart, and the clue falls down, and everyone's like, oh my God, that's so badass, which it was.
Yeah, that was badass. And I mean, like old school Survivor, they got to do that. They got to shoot blow darts, and I would want to do that.
Yes, they probably definitely will not do that ever again with COVID, but
right, yeah, no, everybody gets their own blow dart. Please mark your darts. We do not want you to mix them up. Social distancing of your darts, everybody.
We will discard all of these items after.
We will burn them.
Yeah. So they get there, blow darts clue down, gets clue, and they have to choose between the names of the challenges are Shelter from Trees or Well Done Please.
Okay, so we're on the Amazing Race, and we get our little clue. Which one are we going to do?
My vote is we're going to do Shelter for Trees.
Absolutely. We're going to live out our survivor dreams too. We're going to go braid some palm fronds and build a little shelter.
Y'all, not to like shade men gender, but females are known for being observant, and I feel like we would have paid attention to these things. And even if I didn't, I feel like you definitely would have caught that and been like, "No, bitch, we got to fix this. Like this doesn't match stairs. We're doing this upside down or tying wrong, whatever."
So we do get to see Riley and Madison get there first. They decide to go with the shelter in trees or whatever it was called. And they are very observant and they notice, okay, these are going a certain direction. They count the number of rows that there has to be. And like, I'm kind of impressed with them because there was two things.
How they're from Hawaii and people always ask, like, do y'all live in huts?
That's like anybody. I mean, if you go out of state and you're from Texas, people are like, "Do you ride a horse to school?"
Y'all just dirt roads down there. Y'all just wear cowboy hats every day of your life.
Got you some spurs and some chaps. And you got your horses.
Got my horses in the back.
Lil Nas X was on it, y'all. That's exactly how it is.
Like that music video was actually filmed here in Texas.
East Texas.
That is how it looked here.
Yeah, for sure.
Like so, I don't live in a real house. I live in like a mud hut,
In a teepee.
I live in a log cabin.
In a teepee.
On the ground, like the floor is dirt.
And your horse is tied up outside of it.
Correct. With the trough. The water is like right next to my bed head.
And that's what she bathes in.
Correct. We don't. Yeah. So we're really
so
great driver.
Yeah. So anyway, we do see Riley and Madison go here. They pay super close attention, so they're able to get through this task really quickly. Who else completed the shelter?
So most people completed the shelter and did not go to the food challenge, whereas we saw vice versa for the food challenge. So D'Angelo and Gary do the trees, Riley and Madison, Esquire and Aparna. Most teams do the trees. Will and James and Victoria and Michelle and Hung and Chi do the food.
Yeah.
And are successful.
Oh, look at your baby in the background.
They're going to bed. So they do this, and a funny scene from the trees, and we'll get to the food. But a funny scene from the trees too was Gary's like, "I'm from Florida," and he's like wiping the sweat off. I'm used to this, and D'Angelo goes, "I'm not from Florida at all."
Nowhere close. And I also love that Gary was like, "We're building the walls of their hut," and D'Angelo was like, "No, we're not. We are not building the walls. We're building the roof." And he's like, "No."
Like have an argument over what part of
what are they building?
The hut they're building. Yeah, and it doesn't even matter.
We're not building a wall. We are definitely building the roof.
So attention to detail is super important in this challenge. They had to get the palm fronds the right way. There was 2 different like palm fronds that went like vice versa. And so they had to put them in the pattern the right way. They had to tie the string the exact right way. There had to be the right amount of palm fronds, like everything. This was an attention to detail challenge. And these people were sweating to death. Yes. So moving to the food challenge, so we see, Will and James get there and they do the food challenge, and they finished before Riley and Madison. They finish that challenge and head off. So that just shows you how fast, because Riley and Madison got there before Will and James. But anyway, so they do the food challenge and get it right on the first try. So they have to take the items from their market, like slice the fish properly, make this sauce out of some of the vegetables they have to make these like rice tortillas, and make a dish and do all these things. And then the
Tribe leader.
yes, the local has to eat it and give them a thumbs up and give them the next clue.
Yeah, so I think that we could have done pretty well on this one too. I think honestly it was probably easier than the palm fronds because you're not out in the heat. But
well, I
no
don't.
one really struggled.
I don't. Yes, they did. You're lying. You are straight up lying right now to our viewers. Straight up lying. Because let me tell you, if I was doing this challenge, I read instructions like we do HelloFresh, and like I have to read them instructions line by line 3 times before I start cooking it. Like, oh my gosh, I would suck at that challenge. Like, you would maybe be good because you're like a good cook, but I'm absolutely not. And I don't know portions. I don't know, like, I don't think of ways like easily to make stuff. So Victoria and Michelle did this challenge, and they were like, forgot to make the sauce, and you had to put the vegetables like in this little cone juicer and like stab it down in there, and it would pour out into this bowl to make the sauce.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would have forgot. Like
This is also where we get our comment that we talked about last night on the Big Brother episode, where Victoria's like, "I know, bitch, I know what to do. I don't need you to tell me." And this is like, I think that they may be our spirit animals because this is exactly how we would be.
yes, for sure. Me and Kylie would straight up talk shit to each other the entire challenge because we were legit going to be pissed if we're losing because we're both so competitive. But at the end of the day, we'll be friends again. We just, the challenges, that might be what bites us in the ass, but it's also, I mean, we would be them for sure. Like, yeah. So in the food challenge, we see Alana and Leo also attempt the food challenge, and they got there so late, they gave up on it. They could not, they were like, we cannot do this. Like, this is too hard. They couldn't figure it out. And so they go to do the palm fronds and build the shelter, also struggling.
Is that how that happened? I really don't remember.
That's what I'm paying. I have in my notes that they started the
because what we've left out that's super important in all this, guys, is that they have the double U-turn.
But they don't know that yet.
So they switched and then they had to go back and do it again?
Oh, no. You're right. That's what happened. And I missed that part. I missed them getting there. Yeah.
I was like, what?
So, yeah, okay.
So double U-turn, guys.
So, we're so professional tonight. Okay. Yeah, so there's a double U-turn, which means that the teams can, whoever gets there first can pretty much U-turn a team if they want to, or they can bypass it and not do anything. Well, Will and James get there first, and they U-turn
Leo and Alana because they are threatened by, that they're smart, they're athletic, they're working closely with Haley and Kailyn, and so they're like, hey, you know what?
Olympians, and they were like, that was a smart move. Like, we've got to watch out for them.
Yeah, so we're going to take this opportunity. We're going to U-turn them. And, as Alana is like doing the food, she said, well, I think we're good with all the teams, so it's okay. It's not a big deal. And little do you know what's coming.
Okay, so let me take back. You're not a liar. I just had the wrong thing in my notes. Like, I missed it.
I was like,
sorry,
either I completely missed that, which last night, I probably didn't pay as close of attention as I normally would because
Big Brother was coming up.
Yeah, because Big Brother and it's like Christmas, so trying to get it all lined out.
Yeah, so Alana and Leo go get their U-turn. They have to go back, and they're defeated at this point. Like, they are defeated. They're mentally struggling. They're physically struggling. So now
Alana especially.
Yeah, so they have to go back and build this shelter, and it is just not they are not having it. They're crying. Well, Alana's crying.
And Leo has this monologue where he says that one of the pieces of advice they got before going on the show was that they had to be, when one person's up and the other person's down, you can't both be down at the same time. So like, hey, if she's struggling, I need to be supportive of her and let her have her moment, and I need to be the encouraging one, and there's going to come an opportunity where roles are reversed and she's going to have to be that for me. And I think that's a sign of a really good relationship.
Yeah, so we know from our interview with Kelly that they are now married. And I agree. Like they are the yin and yang to each other. Like they, Alana's breaking down and Leo's really carrying the team mentally through this challenge, which I think, it does speak volumes to their relationship. I completely agree. And it's hard, honestly, watching any team struggle through these challenges. You just want to like help them. We know that they're doing it wrong because the camera's like showing us and we're just like yelling at our TV like, no, go back and fix it. And they have to completely start over, y'all. They got done. They asked for the check and the guy's like, no. And he shows them what they did wrong. And it's the whole damn thing. The whole thing is wrong.
I'd been like, look, we're just going to move over. We're going to move putts. And I'm not even taking this down. Y'all can take it down.
Yeah, we'll go over here to this one. And so then we see, which again, this is editing. We don't really know how far Frank and Jerry are behind, but they get there. They decide they're going to do the food challenge as well. They get there. They do the food challenge, and they also got double U-turned by Haley and Kailyn.
Yeah, so Haley and Kailyn said at the beginning of the episode, like, hey, Alana and Leo really did us a solid by telling us about the horn in the previous episode. We owe them. And so if we have the opportunity, we're going to repay this to them. And this is going to come to fruition very quickly because they get to the board and they see that Alana and Leo had been U-turned, and so they were like, hey, we know that Jerry and Frank are way behind, so we're going to help them out. We're going to use this double U-turn, and
they do. Double U-turn Frank and Jerry, so then Frank and Jerry have to go back.
Boo! I don't like this.
This was awful. So also, just like, we got to see I feel like we're learning more about these teams each episode, and Frank and Jerry just have your heart. Like they are the just bread and butter to the season, the heart and soul. Like their relationship is so freaking precious. And how Jerry talks about his son Frank and how Frank talks about his dad is just absolutely precious. I wish everyone could have a relationship with their parents like these, like Jerry, like Frank does with Jerry. And on the boat ride, they, were talking about their relationship, and it was just so precious. So they get U-turned, go back to the palm fronds. Alana and Leo leave, and they know that they are going to be last. But you know what? They don't stop.
Yep, they just have a good time.
They keep going, and Jerry is crying, and it's just, like ripping my heart out. So freaking sad.
Yeah, it was so sad. And so we will be talking with Jerry and Frank one day soon. And one thing I want to ask them is about the bags. And if they had left their groceries and not gone back for them, what would the time penalty have been? Because you have to think that they lost probably at least an hour.
At least, because they were pretty far. Like they went all the way on their boat. Like
they went all the way and all the way back. And we know that Victoria and Michelle said that they were like 20 to 30 minutes into the boat ride. Yeah. And so they had to have lost at least an hour. And so, we've seen people before they can't complete a task and they just sit out. So if they had not gone back for their groceries, I wonder what their time penalty had been.
Yeah, I wonder that too, and I can't wait to ask them about that. They're just crying, and it's so sad. And they're just really, building each other up. They're like, we're going to finish. Like, no matter what, we are not quitters. And Frank is like, my dad didn't raise a quitter, and it is just absolutely heartbreaking to watch these two finish. But as the teams are finishing and they have to go to the U-turn board, there's another clue. And Victoria and Michelle, like we said, were super lost all day long. And the clue, so there's a basket next to the U-turn post.
Right next to it.
Right next to it. And every single team prior to them has found it, but they get to it. And they're so distracted by, I think, what's on the board that they're like,
peace out.
Start walking off, like looking in the buildings, like looking in the huts, like looking around, looking in bushes, like where is the clue?
Yeah, and the Amazing Race decides to throw a little shade on them, and they finally have them coming back to the U-turn board, and they pop up 34 minutes later. So our girls walked around the Amazon for 34 minutes, lost,
and I
just to come back.
Like got there after them, and they were like, "Oh, here's the clue." Like, so another point where they were throwing shade on them because they were like, Eswar and Aparna get there, and they're like reaching the basket immediately.
Yeah, like it's right here.
Like, literally, why would this basket just be sitting here? That doesn't make sense.
Yeah, so they went all over the Amazon looking for this clue that was right there in front of them, but they are able to check in ahead of Jerry and Frank, so ultimately it doesn't matter.
Yeah, so we see Will and James come in first place. And
so the first episode that Hung and Chi don't finish first.
Yeah, so Will and James get there first, and they win a trip. And, you know, me and Kylie are so curious to know if, you know, since this season was delayed, we got asked this question on Twitter. So normally the rules are that until the season airs, you don't get your prizes. Like, you don't get prize money. Like, until the final episode, prizes and money are not distributed.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know, like, since this season was in the can for, you know, 2 years.
Yeah.
I don't know, like, how does that work? I'm so curious. You know, maybe we'll get like Will and James on. I don't know, whoever we get on first that has won a prize.
Yeah, Will and James, Hung and Chi. Those are the only two options right now.
Yeah, we're definitely going to ask them this question, and how has COVID impacted these trips? Because obviously they were promised back then, but if they give them to them now, like, they cannot go to Switzerland. They cannot go, like, that is
to Bali.
Right, like, that's not an option. So we need answers. Can't wait to ask them about that too.
But hopefully not too soon, because we don't want them off the show yet.
Correct. We absolutely don't want them off the show. Hung and Chi get their second place, and Phil says, "You are the second place team." And little Hung just freaks out. Like, she is like,
but isn't she like, how the hell did that happen? Like, what?
They cannot believe these two are absolutely, and like, they're not like mad because they didn't get first for the first time this season. They are in complete shock. The cutest little humans that they got second.
Yeah.
And they straight up freak out. Kailyn and Haley come in third. Madison and Riley come in fourth. And is that right? That's what I have. I hope that's right. I might have those two twisted. I mean, this is how I typed it. But anyways.
Yeah, Riley and Madison were fourth.
Okay. Just making sure, because I've had some facts wrong this episode. And
no big deal.
Fifth place was D'Angelo and Gary, the NFL team. Sixth place was Eswar and Aparna. Seventh place, Michelle and Victoria. Eighth place, Leo and Alana do make it there before Jerry and Frank. And we don't know how long it took, because, I mean, Alana and Leo were definitely like gone, and it seemed like
I think they were way behind.
Yeah, I mean, it seemed like a way different time of day. Like, they were, you know, way behind. But they get there, and Phil is like, "How did it feel to do this with your dad, or how this, you know, felt with your son?" And Frank says, you know, only person who's ever competed on the show, or he says something along the lines of like, my dad has a hip replacement and 2 knee replacements and still running around the world. And he was like, this guy's like unstoppable, or something along those lines. And it was just, I freaking love them. I said from episode 1, I loved them. Yeah, like I was absolutely heartbroken that they were the ones to go tonight or last night.
Yeah. So that is very sad. They had a good little run. At least they got to have the experience with each other, and now they get to go hang out at the Amazing Race Ponderosa with our friends Nathan and Cody and Kelly and Levon. Which, I mean, if I had to pick 4 people to hang out with, which we're probably going to say this every time we get to talk to one of the Amazing Race teams, but we really, really love those 4 people. So
yeah, for sure. So we wouldn't have minded. I mean, it would have sucked to lose, but here's the thing: is like if me and Kylie go on the Amazing Race and there's a team we don't like, we definitely can't lose right after them because then we're going to be in this Ponderosa with them, and that's just not going to be
no fun.
Yeah, it's not going to be good. So, like I think I would just be pissed that I lost. Like, I mean, they're like, oh, this experience is so good. Yes, like the experience is good, but like I am there for the money. And like I'm trying to win money.
Right.
Like I'm all about like, keeping my friendship with Kylie and us like making a stronger bond or whatever. But like at the end of the day, we are there for the money.
Sorry. The money, y'all.
Show me the money.
So, yeah. Okay, Jerry Maguire. So, y'all are here for us to drop some song jingles for y'all. So far, that video from yesterday does not have 5,000 views, therefore you cannot hear our jingle. We're here to bring y'all movie quotes, and we're going to give y'all Spanish tutorials.
Yeah, Espanol.
So, Trisha, what phrase do we want to teach our viewers today?
Como se dice, just if you are wanting to know something,
yeah.
you want to say like, how do you say?
You say, como se dice?
Yeah. So,
como se dice cup in Espanol?
Yeah. And I don't know how to say cup in Spanish, but I know how to say water, so we're going to go with
agua.
Or wine, vino.
So that is Spanish 101 for y'all today. Como se dice? So, como se dice hurry in Espanol?
Pronto.
Yeah. On delay. Let's go.
On delay. Pronto is fast.
Yeah.
So there we go. We got a few words in today. So there y'all go. Instead of tweet of the day, we're going to have a Spanish phrase of the day because me and Kylie know a kindergarten level of Espanol.
Yeah. Como se dice? Y'all practice that.
Yeah. There y'all go.
There it is.
Anyone who speaks Spanish is probably like, oh my God, y'all's accents are ridiculous. We know.
I'm not going to lie. I think I've said this before, but I have Rosetta Stone on my computer, but I don't have time to do it. Every once in a while, I'll open it up and I'm like, okay, let me work on my Spanish because I would love to be fluent. And how you do it with Rosetta Stone is it'll say something like, Me llamo es Kiley, and it'll make you say it. And so I'm like, Me llamo es Kiley. And it's like, damn it, because I don't say it right. I'm like, Me llamo es Kiley. Like, again, let me have an accent, a Spanish accent. And it's like, nah. I'm like, skip. Just move on to the next one.
Right.
Yeah, like, I don't know what you want me to do, but this is as close as I can get. So, I'm probably going to be able to read Espanol a lot better than I can speak it.
Yeah. So, but if not, we're going to have cards that have phrases on them because we're obviously not going to learn all the languages. Like,
correct.
We might learn Spanish, but that's only going to get us through
a small part of the world.
Like, it's not going to get us through, German,
Europe, Asia, Africa, Australia.
Hopefully we can get through Australia on our own. But yeah, anyways, there's that. So So yeah, we will hopefully get Frank and Jerry on our show sometime within the week before the next episode of The Amazing Race to do an exit interview. And we want to know what questions that you guys want us to ask them. So you can drop it on this video, or we will post the day before the interview on our social media so you can chime in then. Sports Television says, what are your predictions for who will win?
I mean, I just kind of feel like what did you say?
Because the winner's edit.
I feel like at this point, I think it's going to be Leah and Alano or Will and James.
Leah and Alano. Leo and Alano.
What did I say?
Leah and Alano.
All the right letters, all the wrong order. No big deal.
So you said Lana and Leo and Will and James?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree with that. They have the edit for sure. Yeah, that was freaking hilarious when Russell.
What was I supposed to think? He says, you know, the Christmas guy with white hair.
Literally, that is what he said. I was on the same brainwave. I was like, okay, but surely he's not meaning Santa Claus.
I was like, he forgot Santa's name. You're on the naughty list.
I was like, Santa?
Santa Claus?
Who was he even talking about?
Jack Frost. Which I did get Jack Frost too, but
he should have said the villain, like
the Frozen guy.
Yeah, like the Christmas villain, like from the movie Santa Claus, like even.
Yes, from the movie The Santa Claus with Tim Allen. Everyone would have got that.
Yeah, like obviously we are not playing gestures with Russell.
And I am pretty certain that Jack Frost doesn't have white hair. He has silver hair.
I don't even remember, but
white hair is Santa.
We are not playing catchphrase with Russell ever because he would be giving us the worst clues.
I'm so good at catchphrase.
Me too. It's my favorite game. It's my favorite.
Travel Council Blog says, nice to go to the Amazon without being on the damn computer.
Yeah, because my favorite Amazon that I've been to is Amazon Prime.
Yeah, Amazon.com.
.com. I'm just gonna steal everyone else's jingles.
Would it be worth it to have?
You got it.
A graphic on the screen with the clue says, so that the fans like us can know what the deal is. Yeah, so they could flash up the clue like, oh crap, look, they're all forgetting their bags.
Yeah. Yeah, because
that would be helpful.
Showed us the wording of it to where we're like, oh my god, these dumbasses. But yeah.
Okay.
Muzzy.
I don't know what that means.
Which translation? No, but tell us more.
Is that a language translator? Because I got Google Translate. That's what I do. Because I really like Google Translate because you can put your phone up to an image and it will translate it right there, like a live translation, not spoken, but in words.
Right. Kailyn says, I think the guys who made first place, referencing Will and James, have a high chance of being U-turned by others, and they did U-turn Alana and Leo, which could impact them later. They were first, so everyone else saw the board and know that they did it. It definitely could, but they do have a strong alliance, one episode alliance with 4 other teams. So they really stand a good chance of not. There's only 8 teams left. So if, any of the other 4, but I don't think, I think if Alana and Leo or Haley and Kailyn, they might. But I don't think Victoria and Michelle would, or who
any
else?
of their alliance. Yeah.
Not Eswar and Aparna. Is it S4 Yeah, S4. No.
So one thing that we didn't talk about was it did say that this was the first of only 2 U-turns for the season. So one down, there's only one more.
Yeah. Another part where clue reading is importante, which means important in Spanish.
Y'all, so here you go. Importante, agua, water. ¿Cómo se dice? How do you say?
Vino,
Right.
and muy, which is
Very.
anyways, uh, Travel Council Log says it's a language translation program from the 90s with cheesy commercials. I'm literally Googling this after. I can't wait to watch this. It sounds like my jam. I love things from the 90s. Like, y'all see those posts that go around? It's like, I'm this old, and it's like something from the 90s
Yeah.
or from the 80s or, whatever. And it's like, I'm always like, okay, but how come no one ever talks about Ask Jeeves? Like, y'all don't remember asking Jeeves before you asked Google? Like, Ask Jeeves. And it also was terrible. Like, you could never find what you're looking for.
Right. Yeah, those are always fun. I like to reminisce on the good old days.
Simpler times.
Simple times when we could go to markets and not wash fruit and vegetables. And
I love that Dragon Monkey is still channeling his inner Enzo. Much respect. Love it.
U-turn's been early in other seasons, yo. Never too early, yo. Yeah,
Yeah.
Tribal Council Blog asks, is it too early to have one in episode 3? I don't think so. I'm always here for anything that makes things interesting. So, love it.
And plus, we know that they have the yields. So it's like those can also play a part. They don't have to U-turn them. They'll delay them.
The moment says, I always liked U-turns more than yields.
A U-turn is a real fuckery. Like, that is like, if you U-turn me and I come out,
2 middle fingers to
like,
you.
I am U-turning you so fast. Like, it's happening. I also wonder if they know. I don't think they know. I don't think they know before, like, the race, that leg begins, that there's a U-turn in it.
Well, I think they said it. I think they were like, caution, double U-turn ahead. And they were all like, oh no, because that's where Leo and Alana were like,
Oh, yeah.
everybody, we're good with everybody, so I don't think we have anything to worry about. G and Nico, yo. Papa Dukes, yo. And he did shout out Papa Dukes. So
He
he
did.
didn't win, but he did shout out Papa Dukes.
Another heartfelt, like, watching Enzo cuss out his children, Nicole and Cody, was like, I felt his pain.
Yeah, that was really hard to watch.
It was. And then when everyone was laughing at him, we didn't comment on this last night, but when everyone was laughing at him, and he's like, they're laughing at me, yo. Y'all hear them laugh? Cody, you hear them laughing at me?
Why are they laughing? And every commercial break, he kept bringing it up. And Cody was like, they're not laughing at you. Just, you were up there and you were being so animated. And Enzo's like, I think they were laughing at me, yo. They didn't like what I had to say, yo.
Yeah, like every single commercial break, there was like 3 that it showed, and Enzo's like, they were laughing at me.
Yeah. Dragon Monkey says he won bingo! Yeah!
You posted your story and tag us. I want to know which card you used, because I did it too, and I did not win, and I'm pissed.
I did not get to play bingo because I had to live score the episode for our draft, and we keep shouting it out, and there's nothing to join right now because there's no shows happening that we do a draft for, but we awarded some big money last night, y'all. So over $1,500 to first place, over $400 to second, and over $200 to third. So just saying, y'all want to be a part of this.
Yeah, I was just gonna go to the page real quick and show y'all my cracked screen of the winner.
Winners! Look at that.
Winner. Even last place gets a point. Tribal Council
Redemption Island.
would a Redemption Island type aspect to the game be worth doing? Fair, unfair? I like the idea. I think it would be if there were more U-turns because these people would come back with like a vengeance.
Yeah.
But also, the Olympians being kicked out, and it was kind of because of Alana and Leo helping Haley and Kailyn advance. It could be interesting,
It could
especially.
be interesting. I think one of the things I like about The Amazing Race is that it's pretty pure, what you're going to get every single season. They don't have all these crazy extra things. I feel like the Big Brother producers today is, day one of the off season, and they're sitting down trying to figure out what kind of twist are we going to throw next year. And so much of it is like, stop. Let's just, let's not do any.
Poisonous apples, like just a random, yeah.
Yeah. So I think one of the things I like about The Amazing Race is it's pretty pure. There's not a lot of twists. Just you go and you race.
And that's it.
Yeah.
I mean, I even I get why they do like the olive board challenges, so that way it evens it up a little bit, gives everyone a fair start, and we don't have this like hung and chi dominating from race one. But I
kind of like that idea.
But I do like that like you get to the plane first, and like you're in the destination first, and like Anyway.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, that brings us to the end of our show. Thanks, everyone who joined us live. If you are watching us later, be sure to drop us a comment, hit us with a thumbs up. That helps with the algorithm of YouTube. It helps keeps us current and relevant. So if you could do us a solid, hit us with a thumbs up, drop us a comment, even if it's just a smiley face, or a sad face. I don't care. Just hit us with a comment or drop us your thoughts. And don't forget to subscribe because we're not going live every day at lunch like we used to. So things might be a little bit irregular now. So be sure to hit the subscribe button so that you get notifications when shows on the Russell Hantz channel go live. Anything else, Kylie?
We will hopefully be coming to y'all with an interview with Jerry and Frank sometime this week. If not, we will be back on Wednesday after the Amazing Race episode airs live.
Yes, for sure. All right, guys. Well, we will talk to y'all soon, and y'all have a great week. Cheers, Kylie.
Cheers.